as you are enjoying your Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, whatever holiday you are apt to support, we're gonna give you a little insight into someone. I discovered her on this show because every Friday I give my what to watch list. And it was this summer. I hadn't watched the original, so I tipped into HBO Max because they have new things. And I got intrigued. It's kids in high school misbehaving. I teach, so I'm like, yeah, for the teachers. And there's this rogue internet or social media platform that's uncovering all of the secrets, keeping these kids in line. And this young lady, she's playing a young lady. I know she's older than that. But that's no, it's good. She's a great actress. She is like the star of the school. She is the most popular young person in the entire school. Her sister comes, I'm not giving too much away, who she doesn't really know, but they've been secretly communicating. And then the rivalry, it's a whole ass mess. Let me tell you about Gossip Girl. Better yet, let me tell you about this woman, Jordan Alexander. She's going to tell you about Gossip Girl. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Hey, Jordan, nice to meet you.
Hey, thank you for having me. This is great. And I like the intro a lot. That was a
Now,
good start to my day.
listen, I'm all in. I don't just
Yeah.
watch. I'm an active watcher of things, and we're in a particular era where social media and all of that, and young people, feeling themselves and being a little disrespectful to the
Yeah.
adult in their lives. How did you get this role, first of all?
Well, I auditioned for it after hearing about it from my friend Emily, who ended up playing Audrey in the show. She was like, "You should go out for this." So she was kind of the catalyst into letting me know about that audition. So it's really cool.
Well, you play the hell out of it. I believe
Thank
you.
you.
I believe you. Okay, so how much of this character is you? Like, take us back. Take us back. It's the holidays. People are, with their families. Where are you from originally?
So I was born in British Columbia in Canada, but I've been in Toronto for about 10 years now. So I'd say I'm more of an East Coaster now. Um, yeah.
All right. So being playing this, like, is there a big difference between Canadian youth culture and American youth culture?
I think so. I feel like overall youth culture doesn't really change all that much. I feel like once you start perceiving the world like through your own specific lens, once you start to develop your own perception, you're always going to have this kind of like rebellious or exploration period. And then maybe that never ends. But yeah, so I feel like there's always that. But I think that the high school culture in America is different. And I don't have like a super specific beat on it, but like things that I've heard, I'm like, oh, that just doesn't really seem like what was happening in my school. Like, of course, there's cliques and this and that, but I mean, if I'm judging by like Mean Girls, which is probably like the most American culture thing that I know, it's not like that. It's not that cliquey, and I feel like there's a lot more or a lot less of that happening.
Well, you are the ringleader, but you're complicated. The character that you play, Miss Calloway, is she's not all that she seems, and at the same time, she's working through her stuff, and it's interesting to watch because she's complex. You meet her, you think one dimensional, all about the selfies
Look,
and
the aesthetic.
yes, but there's a lot more going on. How much of Jordan is in this character?
Um, this character, as far as how I see it, is a complete whole other person. Um, except for these like really super core things that I would try to inject into any character, like you're saying, she's not one dimensional. Of course, you kind of look at somebody who's like taking lots of photos and really about the aesthetic, and you assume you know everything about them, but people aren't one thing. It just it doesn't happen. So there's always going to be that. But I think that Julian is potentially the farthest from me as Jordan, as a character I've ever played, and potentially as anyone. Like, we are very, very opposites.
So who would be Jordan in your high school? Like which one of these characters would have been you, or what, what was your high school experience like? Were you part of the theater crowd? Were you part of the science crowd? Were you, what was your
I
clique?
I would say the character that I feel like is closer to who I am would be Zoya. I definitely feel passionately about causes that I believe in, and I like to try and be justice focused. Like when I was in high school, I was kind of a drifter. I didn't really have a group at all. I also went to a bunch of different high schools, so I never really got the chance to kind of like make those connections in that way. But I was always kind of like looking out, even sticking my nose where it doesn't belong. I remember I defended this girl on the school bus from someone I thought was bullying her, and she was like, "That's my friend." And I was like, "Oh, sorry." I just thought it was mean. It felt mean. And so I was like, "Hey, leave her alone."
I
So,
love that. I love that because Zoya plays your sister.
mhm.
You both shared your mom died, I think, giving birth to her. I think that's the
Yes.
backstory.
Mhm.
And you of course have two different fathers, and there's like a built-in first, kinship, and then it becomes a rivalry,
Yeah.
which plays out, and y'all can watch, Gossip Girl. It's got all of the things. And
Yeah.
it's a smorgasbord of everything you
I
can
love
imagine.
it.
But I'm incredibly interested in your journey. You're moving around. I hear a lot of actors, either their parents were in the military, so they have to always kind of reset and
Mm.
become themselves, or find themselves each place that they go, and that lends to this craft that you're in now. Was your dad in the military, your mom in the military? Why did you move around so much?
We were just no, nothing like that, but we just moved a lot. I feel like my parents are really free spirits, and so they like to kind of go where the wind was bringing them. And I personally found it like a really valuable life experience, being able to kind of pick up and go and try my best to, like you're saying, like orient myself as who I am again, because I feel like a lot of who we are is the environment that we're in. And so I definitely had to do like a lot of growing. Um, I wasn't able to just kind of like lean back on relationships that I had maintained for a very long time. I was constantly having to be new. Um, and I think that that really does help with acting, because I mean, character building for sure, but also you may just be like, oh, I need to be in South Africa in 2 months or whatever, so you have to be able to follow where your job goes. And I got very used to that at a young age. So
We're talking with Jordan Alexander. She plays Julien Calloway on Gossip Girl. This is the reboot, the 2021 reboot. And actually, season two, or part two, kicks off today. So y'all can binge watch. We watch TV on Thanksgiving. Some of y'all watch football. I do not. But not because I don't love it, but because I'm with Pack. That said, as season two unfolds, what are we going to see with your character? You give us some.
well, yeah, I definitely can. I can give those broad hints so as not to ruin the very exciting surprise. I really like to keep tight-lipped. Like my family doesn't even know what's going to go down, because I want it to be an experience. I don't want any of the surprises to, be ruined. But yeah, I think that there's going to be a very accelerated growth happening with Julian. I feel like the first 6 episodes, she was definitely being challenged, but still able to kind of maintain who she'd always been. And I think that these next 6 episodes really challenge each of the characters in a really intense way, kind of constantly. Um, it just seems to be like event after event that is causing them to like reevaluate and shift and change. And by the end of the season, it's almost like they cannot be the same people anymore.
Are we gonna have to choose? Because we've been choosing between you and Zoya, but
Well,
there's gonna be a time when we can like both of you at the same time.
I mean, there is no Julian without Zoya and vice versa. I think that these two represent, challenges of any relationship. And especially a sibling relationship can be challenging enough, let alone if you don't even know that person, you know? I have two sisters and like we fight and we've known each other our whole lives. I can't even imagine what it would be like if we didn't have that basis. But I think luckily for Julian and Zoya, there is that really strong current of love between them. They have, like a shared trauma in losing their mom, and then, this experience of being kept apart. So I think that that will be enough to hold them together, or I'm hoping so.
How important is it for you, Jordan, that these lead characters are both are Black?
Hmm.
I'm gonna always lean into diversity when I recommend things because I feel like representation is everything, and people need to see
Hmm.
themselves in many different ways. I like that you are uber rich. I like that because again,
Hmm.
we're not monolithic. People do have money. You're not just uber rich. Zoya's conscious. Also, you're going to this prestigious prep school. You have aspirations. You have expectations, all of the things. And as a Black woman, you're also kind of, racism forward, but it's there.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
it good? Is it good that it's not in your face, like you just happen to be Black?
I think, yeah, exactly. I think that it's really representative of the experience of rich Black people, because you do get a certain sense of insulation due to having money, which I think is, like a rift between Julian and Zoya, because I think Julian tries, but just is not as aware of how these things are impacting people who don't have money. So there's also race, but there's also class involved. And I think that, yeah, it is important to see Black characters who aren't just there to be your like justice compass, you know, because not everybody's like that. Just because you're Black doesn't mean you care. And especially, I think money tends to insulate people from the experiences.